a wild night in the SEC last night, and our crazy scenario from last week has maybe gotten a little crazier for the moment, but our paths to who is going to the SEC championship have probably gotten a little more clear. Now, there's a ton of tiebreakers and there's a ton of different things that could end up happening with this, but I'll give you kind of the best guideline of if you're an Aggies fan, if you're a Bulldog, if you're a Longhorns fan, if you're a Volunteers fan that just feels thankful to have escaped past Kentucky, or if you're an LSU fan who was off yesterday, I'll give you kind of the scenarios of what I think is about to happen. Now, 5 one-loss teams at the top of the SEC. We all know that 2 of them are going to take care of each other. We know that Texas and Texas A&M play the last week of the year. We know that Georgia and Tennessee play each other in just 2 weeks. Now, LSU is the wild card. And what happens in their game this weekend is going to be determining a ton. So you could theoretically have 3 teams remaining. LSU, they beat Bama, and the winners of Tennessee, Georgia, and Texas A&M. The excitement in the SEC is really unparalleled right now as some of the controversy or chaos has died down in both the Big Ten and the ACC. There's some fun stuff going on in the Big 12 as well, but what's going on in the ACC is certainly a lot more fun. Now, Bama could make a lot of this irrelevant next week, and we're going to talk about that game a ton this week. We'll get Blake back on. We'll get my buddy Drew back on. We will talk with some insiders, so if you're not already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We'll also keep doing this series to update you on possibilities, scenarios, and likelihoods of what happens in the SEC. If you're already subscribed, do me a favor and join our Discord. The link is free in the description. Just a great place to go talk ball. Not selling you anything. I don't get any of your information. There's nothing like that. You can put in a fake screen name if you want to be anonymous. It's hard to comment all the time and reply to YouTube comments. That's a really great place where we can kind of keep some of this conversation going. Now, if LSU wins, which it looks like a lot, if LSU wins, right? It's going to look like we're going to have a 3-team fight for Atlanta with only 2 teams going, obviously. So here are our scenarios. It's really pretty simple. If LSU wins out, they are in that final 3, 100%. There's nothing that would keep them from it. And the winner of UGA Tennessee would be in the final 3, and the winner of Texas A&M and Texas would be in the final 3. So let's use LSU and UGA and Texas for an example. Now, don't yell at me, Tennessee and A&M fans. I'm not forgetting about you. But our tiebreakers, as a reminder, are head-to-head competition among the tied teams. All 3 teams would have to play each other for that one to matter. Record versus common conference opponents among the tied teams. So if all 3 teams had played one team and they'd all lost to them, that would make an impact. Then you'd go through and say record against the highest, the best conference-placed opponents in the conference standings, and then go through from there. None of those are probably going to apply, and so what's going to come down to is cumulative conference winning percentage of all conference opponents among the tied teams. It would essentially come down to number 4. And what would happen in that situation of an LSU, UGA, Texas win, if LSU wins out, UGA wins out, Texas wins out, well, LSU and UGA would go. Texas would be on the outside looking in. What if LSU loses? Well, in that situation, it's simple. UGA and Texas are in. Now, if UGA and Texas don't win, Tennessee can get in the SEC championship game, but they need LSU to lose to Bama, and obviously they need to win out. If LSU beats Alabama, Tennessee cannot get in. Texas A&M can get in if they win out, and they would, if it was over today, yes, they'd get in over UGA. UGA is in, but they need LSU to not win out. Texas is in if they win out, but they also need either Bama or Tennessee to win to ensure things. So who should everyone be cheering for this week? Well, in the UF-Texas game, everyone besides Texas should want Texas to lose. In the UGA-Ole Miss game, everyone should want Georgia to lose except for Georgia. In the Mississippi State versus Tennessee game, everyone should want Tennessee to lose except for Tennessee. In the Bama-LSU game, everyone should want LSU to lose, obviously, except for the Tigers. And then in Oklahoma, Missouri, and Vandy, South Carolina, it doesn't really matter at this point. I've kind of run the numbers, and it doesn't change a lot either way, so you don't really need to waste your time. No real cheering guide this week. No cheer for this team, cheer for that team. Make sure that you're supporting this team, this, that, and the other. It doesn't really matter. Now, I know some of those other scenarios that I was kind of running through could be complex, but the big picture is if you are not LSU, you need LSU to lose. It would help you tremendously. It would make it to where your game is black and white. You win your game, you're in. And both the UGA Tennessee game and the Texas A&M Texas games happen well after the LSU Alabama game. So we will have a crystal clear picture. When the LSU Alabama game is over, let's say Alabama wins, we will know if this team wins and this team wins, it's over, right? And at that point, if you're UGA and you're Texas and you win, you're in. If you're A&M and Tennessee and LSU has lost, you're in. But if LSU wins, let's say LSU beats Alabama this week. The game is in Baton Rouge, and I know LSU did not impress the way that they looked against A&M, but has Alabama impressed yet this year? Maybe the first half of the Georgia game, the last play or two of that game as well. And so it's not unreasonable to think that LSU could not find a way to win that game. If LSU wins that game, we will know how much of a playoff game Tennessee-Georgia is. Tennessee, at that point, I don't believe could get in. I don't believe Tennessee could jump up to get in. I think what would happen in that situation is Tennessee would need LSU to lose no matter what. If LSU was to win, the winner of Texas versus Texas A&M is going to get in should Georgia lose. And that stinks for Tennessee fans. Tennessee fans, I know you don't want to cheer for Alabama, but you need to cheer for Alabama this weekend. If you're Texas A&M, you could certainly use some chaos. You could use Tennessee winning. You could use Alabama winning. But Texas A&M needs to take care of their business after a really tough game in Columbia yesterday. And then Texas, you just need to win. Texas needs to win, and they could use an Alabama win as well. A Tennessee win would work fine for them as well. And so there's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of scenarios, there's a lot of different things happening. I can put together an if-then. I can post that here on the channel or maybe over in Discord if you'd like. I can put together all these scenarios that I'm talking with and put them on a cool little graphic so you can remember. But again, in 6 days, we're going to know when that elimination game from the playoff happens between Alabama and LSU. We're going to know who is going. We're going to know who needs to win, who needs what. Tennessee could be eliminated at that point. At that point, if LSU wins, Tennessee is out, even if they beat Georgia. Now, they're going to the playoff if they beat Georgia, so it's not all doom and gloom. Maybe it's better to not go to Atlanta and have a chance at a loss. Maybe it's better to get a home playoff game than go to Atlanta and maybe get knocked out of the playoff. I don't really think that teams should be penalized for going to their conference championship, but hey, maybe it's a risk that you don't want to take. Let me know your thoughts down below. Again, hopefully this made sense. We didn't do a cheering guide. Again, cheer against the other 4 teams. If you're one of these teams, cheer against everybody else this weekend. Most of you, there's only one game that truly is going to have an impact, I think. I don't see a massive upset out there anywhere. I don't see Florida beating Texas with their third-string quarterback. I really don't see Ole Miss winning, although I guess they looked a little bit better this week. I don't see Mississippi State winning. And so the Bama-LSU game is the one that matters. Maybe the UGA Ole Miss thing, it could matter a little bit, but man, we'll see. Both those teams have been so hot and cold, so up and down, and I kind of expect UGA to bounce back after playing pretty poorly in a rivalry game. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments. This is going to be a fun series. It will certainly update you after the LSU Alabama game next Sunday. We will be back with you then to talk about it. Again, if you haven't already, do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel tremendously. Helps you get more stuff like this here at College Football Addiction. If you want to get caught up on what's going on in the ACC, you can click the video on the screen right now to do that.